heat in the room just by that scene.
That was actress Margot Bingham, star of the hit HBO series Boardwalk Empire.
That's right. And this season, she electrified viewers with her voice, and she became the show's breakout star. Margot, welcome to Arise 360.
Thank you guys for having me. Hi.
So you know Boardwalk is my favorite show. So I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you.
Okay, you played daughter Maitland.
Yes.
She's a jazz singer. Tell us more about your character and how did you land such a major role?
Well, I had just gotten off of Rent on Broadway, and so when it closed, I was just kind of auditioning for other roles and other parts. And I got the call that I would be in for a jazz singer for this HBO show for Boardwalk, and I was like, oh man, I've had so many friends on that, and that's such an incredible show. This would be a great audition. And it was really just supposed to be a jazz role to sing a couple songs in the background and maybe be on like 2 episodes at the most. And then I just kept getting the phone call to hold more dates, and it just somehow turned into this whole big storyline for the rest of the season. It wasn't really supposed to happen.
Do you remember the song that you sang at the audition?
Yes, I actually, it was one of, it was so bizarre because I did it in one of the episodes, and it's called St. Louis Blues. It's a, blues standard. And I remember going in, and I had a couple girlfriends over the night before my final callback, and I just kind of ran through the song with them, and they just were giving me pointers, and they were like, okay, just breathe, and this, and this. I was just, so nervous, and the song it's such a beautiful song, and then when I got to sing it in the series, it really was kind of a full circle. It was so bizarre, and it was such an emotional day for me, because to sing that song that really landed me the role, and then do it maybe 6 episodes into the season, it was crazy.
How does the song go? Can you sing a little bar?
Oh man, you can find it on YouTube.
The real life version.
Under the weather today.
Okay. It's cold outside.
It's cold. It's a little cold outside. You know what I mean? It's December now.
Well, take us back to the moment when you heard you got the part. Where were you? What were you doing? What was your reaction like?
I was unemployed. I was unemployed at the time. I was hoping for my next job, and I really didn't know what was going to happen. I was just kind of diving back into my music, because my music carried me to New York first. And so I got back with my band, and I started creating a buzz again, and the buzz was kind of filling up New York again, and I was getting my fan base back up, because when I was in Rent, I was doing 8 shows a week, and I was trying to keep up my music career at the same time. But doing 8 shows a week and then trying to do or fit in a 11 o'clock or midnight show in on a Friday, and then going into a 5-show weekend was just really unsustainable. It was really not very realistic. So I couldn't really hold that for about 1.5 years. So I lost a lot of my fan base, because when you're not out there, a lot of people forget about you. So I started picking up my base a little bit more in the city, and then I got the call to come in for this.
And you were like filled with joy. You screaming? You excited? You just like,
I don't try to get that
too
excited
okay.
over or too invested in auditions, because you never know what's going to happen.
That's
and
true.
When you do, I sometimes can self-sabotage.
Okay, then
because you like are overexcited, so you put all of your eggs into the basket, and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this to get somewhere.
When you did get it, we knew you had it. First day on set. Take us back to that day.
I'll tell you the first day I got the call.
Okay.
First day I got the call, my phone got pickpocketed.
No.
Yes. That was.
So you couldn't even get the call.
I couldn't get the rest of the calls. I got the call, and then they were like, whoops, I think we called the wrong girl, because we can't even get in touch with her. So I got the call. I was super excited, and oddly enough, I'm very good friends with Lenore, the girl that plays Chalky's wife on the show. She's my best friend in real life.
Oh, wow.
And
we'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that in a minute. And so the 2 of us, we were walking, and we've kind of been, praying on it for forever, and we were just hoping that we would get this to be in this again together, and another thing together. And I got the call, and she came right over, and we were walking on 125th, and I hopped in the train, and I was so excited, and I had this huge jacket on with big pockets, and this woman came up to me, and she's like, that's a beautiful jacket. What a nice jacket. And I was like, thank you so much. I was like, I was blabbering because I was on cloud 9. I was like, oh my gosh, I just got this role. Incredible. I was like, thank you. I was like, how nice is that? And then I get on the train and I go to look up a picture and that stuff is gone.
Not so
It
nice
is
at
gone.
all.
I was like, man, I wasn't even mad. I was just like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'll go to the Apple Store. And I went to the Apple Store and put on the tracker and just watched it track its way up to the Bronx. And I was like, well, that's gone. So that was the first day. And then 2 days later, I had a fitting before. Everything kind of happened really quickly after the first phone calls happened. And then I went in right for a fitting, and then I went right to the studio. And it was kind of backwards because everybody on set thought that I was a singer first. So they were all, you know, they weren't really sure how to work with me as an actress. So they was like, okay, so there's going to be a camera here, and we're gonna say this, and you're gonna. I'm like, okay, I think
I've done this before.
I'm like,
my first time at the rodeo.
Like, I might try it, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
You know, and then at the studio, they thought that I was an actress first. So they were like, so how do you want to do this? Do you want to listen to the song first? I was like, I really just want to sing it with the band. I wanted to go into the recording studio how it was recorded in the 20s and 30s with one take, one clean take, and no comps and no overdubbing and no edits on top.
No auto-tune.
No auto-tune.
Not at all.
No auto-tune.
Well, you know, you mentioned the 20s and 30s. What else did you have to do to prepare for this role? Is it true that you listened to people like Bessie Smith and Ethel Waters?
Yeah, I walked around listening to their channels on Pandora and just lived kind of and immersed myself in the 20s for months. You know, and also it's really hard not to fall in love with that kind of music. You know, you indulge yourself with voices like Bessie and Ethel that are just, and Josephine, that are just like these incredible women and these incredible talents and spirits. You can hear them through their voice and through their tones. And I totally fell in love with these women, and I just was trying my best to create the most that I could.
What have you enjoyed most about playing this character? I mean, you act, you sing, you wear beautiful clothing, you get to murder someone.
I do. I get to murder someone.
Spoiler alert.
And yeah, sorry.
Take out some hostility.
Right. It was actually funny when I told when I was talking to my mom or my uncle or something on the phone about it. I was like out walking, and I was like, "Yeah, no, I kill him. No, I stab him in the back." And somebody was walking, and they were like,
"Oh my God!"
And I was like, "No, I don't really. I'm like, no, I stab him like over the back." And they're like, "Oh my God!" Like moving their daughter, like.
The sidewalk
Just
clears.
walk away. Keep walking, sweetie. Keep walking.
You're like, that's right. Don't mess with me.
I was like, right.
You should have said that when she was picking your pocket. That's when you should have said that.
Right. Things to think about for later.
Right.
But yeah, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I think all of the elements. I mean, it's awesome. I get to be on the soundtrack. I have these incredible costumes. I work with incredible actors. The cast and the set, and I mean, the design is impeccable on the set. It's just like. They're so specific, and it takes so long to shoot because we only shoot with one camera because they like to stay time sensitive to the 20s and old shooting. So it takes a long time. So we actually wrapped in October, and then the whole season's done in November. So it's like we wrap just in time for the season to be done.
My goodness.
So it's a full year of shooting. I started in March, and I was in the 3rd episode, so they had started long before me.
Okay. My goodness. Okay, so to bring people up to speed who don't watch the show, your daughter Maitland is with this father figure, dubious character, Dr. Narcisse, who's played by Jeffrey Wright.
Yes.
But then she falls in love with Chalky White, the town's leading gangster, who's played by Chalky White.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, you got it?
Correct.
Who's married to your best friend in real life?
Who's married to my best friend in real life? Yeah. So
You
that
steal her man. How dare you?
I would get those kind of calls all the time.
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, the married woman in me is like, but I'm still rooting for your character. But I realize I'm rooting for adultery.
I know. It's so morally
White.
corrupt. It's just such a bad thing, and you just don't want to do it. But something in your gut, you're like, oh man, these two just belong together. They're so sad, and you just feel they're so sad. These two sad souls that just kind of found each other, and they get each other. You know, never has she ever experienced a love like this that was so pure, and that she didn't have to win over by either singing or owing something to him. It was just an automatic, pure love that was created out of sadness and out of just a survivor's story that they could both kind of understand each other's.
They really are soulmates.
Yeah, they really, and it's bizarre. I don't think anybody knew where the storyline was going to go with Chalky and Daughter. I know that the writers definitely didn't know. We definitely didn't know. But I think that Michael and I created something that really was so beautiful. He's such a great person, and he's just the nicest guy, and it's really hard not to fall in love with him. And I do love him, and we have a great time together on set. And
you have incredible chemistry.
We're really, it's just because we're magnetic friends. You know, we were, from day one, we just kind of clicked. And he could talk me down, and I could talk him down, and it's like a very nice relationship that we have, so.
Well, you know, Michael K. Williams has been on the show as well as Jeffrey Wright before. What's it like working with them? I mean, they're so talented.
Oh, man. From day one, it was incredible to walk into a room with Eric LaRae Harvey and Michael K. Williams and Jeffrey Wright, and just to like name a few, you know, like Steve Buscemi, just like walking around backstage, and I'm like, oh, hey, Steve, what's going on? No big deal. You know,
what's up, CBB?
Yeah, what's up, CBB? SB, yo. No, I didn't do that, thankfully. But it was, I've grown up with Jeffrey being such an iconic actor to me, and to be able to just be in the same room with him. I mean, on my first day when I was in the same trailer with him, I didn't know what to say. You know, I didn't know if I should say yes or hi or excuse me. You know, like I didn't know how to approach him because you never know.
Mr. Wright.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Jeff for Mr. Jeffrey. Mr. Jeffs.
I hope it came out better when you actually said it. Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes that's actually how it really comes out, and then you just feel bad for me. So people talk to me anyways.
That's good.
That's really endearing, though. Sweet.
But it's just, you know, it's so intimidating. One of the best actors of our time, and there's no ego. They're completely humble, and you're almost taken back more from that because you don't know how to approach that. It's almost like with an ego, you know, to kind of temper your entrance and know how to deal with somebody. But he was so welcoming, and from day one, everybody had open arms for me. So it was really the cast. I mean, that's the reason why Boardwalk works and why it's such a well-oiled machine, because there's no egos. And it really could be a full room. So it's been really cool.
So how has your life changed since landing this role? I mean, are you recognized on the street? Are there autographs? What's the deal?
I mean, the cool thing is I have a really big fro in real life. It's kind of controlled back today.
Okay.
But in real life, it's really big. So in the show, I look like that, and my hair is kind of slicked back and pulled back. So unless my hair is pulled back, or unless you really know me, you don't really recognize me.
That's nice.
But sometimes when I have, you know, like it's cold now, so I have like earmuffs or whatever, and my hair will be pulled back, and I'll get a lot of the Boardwalk. And I just get Boardwalk. And I'm just like,
Boardwalk.
Hi.
Well, you have 2 songs on the Boardwalk Empire soundtrack.
Yes.
Can we expect an album of your own one day?
Maybe. I mean, I do have my own album with my own music, and I go as Margot B for that stuff, and I have my own band, and it's a funk soul band. So I do perform around the city with that band.
Okay.
And you can get that music on my website, margotb.com. And I recorded an album 2 years ago, and I'm working on new material now with some new producers and writers, and kind of working on some new stuff because it's about time. But there's been some talk about some work with the Boardwalk crew which is Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks, and they perform every Monday and Tuesday at the Iguana in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And they're a fantastic band. It's like a 17-piece band, and they're incredible singing, you know, playing the 20s, and they'll let me step in every once in a while at the Iguana when I come through. And
you're going to be doing a few other shows around the area.
Yeah, soon, right? I am playing with them at Town Hall for their holiday show on December 17th. So tickets are available now, and other beautiful musicians and jazz players. It's going to be like a jazz holiday show.
Okay, last quick question. When will the show return? And are you going to be back?
Well, the show is returning for a 5th season, but I don't know if I'll be back.
Oh, you have to be.
I think you'll be back.
We'll see.
Yes.
I don't know.
Do we need to make a phone call?
Yes.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt, you know.
Okay, we got you. Don't worry.
Thank you, Margot.
Thank you so much.
She's back, right?
Yes.
Right?
Don't worry, she will be. And you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.